Hey, Tom here from the Run Testers with another multi-tester running shoe review. In this video, 3 of the Run Testers are going to be talking through the New Balance Fresh Foam X 860 V12 stability shoe. Let's take a look. The New Balance Fresh Foam X 860 V12 comes in at £125 or $134.99. It weighs in at 302 grams or 10.2 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 10 millimeters. The 860 V12 may be a stability shoe, but with the softer Fresh Foam X midsole, it delivers a subtler level of stability than other shoes we've tested. The dual density medial post provides support from pronation without feeling like it's affecting your running style, and the thick blown rubber outsole gives an impressive level of protection to the midsole, as well as adding grip to trickier surfaces. The upper is an engineered mesh material, which aims to balance supportive design elements with ample breathability, and a moulded external heel counter ensures the foot is securely held in place. The shoe is designed to be a workhorse daily training shoe that offers comfort, support and reliability over many miles of running. The gentler level of stability also means it's a good option for all runners, not just those looking for a designated stability shoe.
So the 860 were true to size for me. Really comfortable, nice amount of room in the toe box and a good secure padded fit around the heel.
Fit for me is true to size in the 860 V12. It's quite a generous shoe. It's not narrow in the midfoot, and there's a lot of wiggle room in the forefoot of the shoe. There's also quite a bit of padding around it, so it's a very comfortable shoe to wear, and I just found that it had a nice level of stepping comfort from the first time I wore it.
So fit for me was solid overall in my UK size 8. I would kind of describe it as kind of very accommodating, I think padded and comfortable in the right places, and all the things I would kind of look for in a kind of supportive stability shoe. So the things I would kind of probably point out, I think you're getting a nice kind of level of padding on the heel and this tongue here. I think the laces are, not overly spongy, but they do sit quite nice and comfortable on the top of the foot. I quite like the fact that the midfoot here, or from the midfoot, it narrows in to kind of get you quite a kind of nice close fit, but then it opens up here quite nicely, I think, up front in the upper and in the toe box. So you're getting something that I think is quite accommodating and spacious without feeling overly spacious, I think. So you've got a little bit of room for your kind of toes to move there. And it didn't feel heavy at the back here, where obviously New Balance has kind of aimed to kind of get things a bit more controlled, a bit more stable around the back. So overall, the fit was really good. No real complaints from me on that front. No issues during my run. Just overall, a very comfortable, solid shoe to run in.
I've been pleasantly surprised by the 860 in my running with it. It wasn't actually a shoe I was planning to do a lot of testing in, just because there's a lot of other stuff in at the moment. But yeah, in my first run I really enjoyed just ticking over some easy miles in them, and I've continued to use them for a few other runs. A long run, some slightly speedier stuff, and overall, yeah, I do think they're a good shoe for kind of ticking off those easy miles. They've got a firmer feel than most. I'm a neutral runner, and I didn't notice the stability elements in an unpleasant way at all. Like, they don't really intrude upon the run, which I think is always a nice touch, just getting that kind of gentle guidance into a neutral position on the run. And I do like the upper. It's really well padded, it's comfortable, it's even quite a nice shade of tealy green there, so it's been quite a nice walking around shoe as well. Like I say, they're mostly easy miles in them, and they're definitely best for those kind of easy runs, and I think I preferred them for quite short easy runs. On that one long run I probably went up to around 20k at a really slow pace, and I did feel by the end I'd probably preferred going out in something a little bit more softer and bouncier. But yeah, it wasn't a bad run at all. It's just I think I'd prefer a softer ride myself than what you're getting from this shoe, which is obviously fair enough because it is a stability shoe. They're not really an all-rounder, but you can do some kind of tempo work in them. They are quite heavy, and I think part of that is just this incredibly thick outsole, which is great. It's gripped really well for me. It's winter here, there's been some icy pavements, some slick pavements, and it's gripped really well, but yeah, it ends up being quite a built-up, heavy shoe as a result, and yeah, it's not ideal for speed work. But yeah, it's not terrible either. It's a pretty solid all-round shoe, for daily training, for those who need a bit of stability.
I was quite surprised by the 860 V12 because it is a stability shoe, but veers more towards the subtle side of stability. If you weren't previously told that this is a stability shoe before you wore it, you probably wouldn't realise that it was one. And that's quite interesting because I don't tend to use stability shoes very often. Technically, I do overpronate, as I'm told when I go and test my feet out at running shoe stores. But I don't tend to wear them because I don't actually seem to need them when I'm out running. But this shoe works really well because it does offer that nice level of stability, but without you really knowing about it. It just delivers like a neutral running shoe for me. And I've been using this over daily training miles from 8k up to about 15k. And it just feels really nice and comfortable. It doesn't feel hefty like some stability shoes do. It doesn't feel too clunky. It's quite a heavy shoe in comparison to a lot of daily trainers that you might try. But I think it doesn't feel like that when you're running it. It just feels like it's got a nice bit of turnover. It does the job, and it feels like a good workhorse shoe. I think the focus of the shoe is comfort above anything else. And when I'm running in the shoe, I do feel like I don't really notice the shoe because that's the job it's doing. It's making my feet feel comfortable, and if I'm doing daily training miles, I don't really want to notice the shoe. I just want to grind out those miles and know that I'm doing them without any issues from my shoes. And this does a great job of that. It just feels very comfortable. There's enough cushioning in here to feel like there's cushioning, but it's not a soft shoe. It's a little bit more firm, which is what you'd expect from a stability shoe. And it's just a great all-rounder option, I think, for those people looking for a good workhorse daily training option. Another thing I like about the shoe as well is the outsole. Now, this is a shoe designed for durability. There's a lot of rubber on that outsole, and that's going to last for a while. It's a pretty hefty wedge of rubber that sticks on there, which if you were looking for a shoe that was better designed for faster paced running or tempo sessions, there's probably too much rubber on that. You could shave off a bit of that rubber and make the shoe a bit lighter, but I don't think that's what this shoe is designed for. It's designed to just keep you going for lots and lots of miles in comfort, and knowing that you're not going to have to buy a new pair of shoes at the end of it. It's just very reliable, sturdy, comfortable shoes. And I think that focus of this shoe, it does really, really well. I found that on general training miles where I'm just trying to get some base miles in me, which for me would be around 5 minutes per kilometre, it does a really nice job. I don't have any issues with the shoe at all. I find it very comfortable, and it just churns out those miles without thinking about it. When I up the pace in this shoe, which for me would be about 420 in a tempo session per kilometre, it's not great, but it's not really bad either. It doesn't feel really clunky. It does feel like there's a nice bit of turnover in it, and it does feel like if you wanted to, you could train a little bit harder. But it's not really designed for that. And I wouldn't ever use this shoe if I was actively going out to do a tempo session. I'd only use it for those runs where I just want something comfortable and cushioned and reliable, where I can just go and do the miles day in, day out, and be happy with it.
So I'll start by actually saying that I'm not a massive fan of stability shoes. I don't love running in them. I've always found them in the past to be quite clunky and heavy. And I know they're there to kind of offer that kind of protection and, something that you can go to for running kind of bigger, kind of eating up a lot of miles and getting miles in your legs. But actually with this shoe, it didn't feel like a stability shoe for me and the kind of shoes that I've used before. And I think that comes down to a couple of things here. I think the first thing for me really was the fresh foam midsole, which I think offers a kind of really nice level of cushioning, but also feels quite energetic and quite lively as well, which was something I wasn't expecting to see. But then you do have that protection. I think that mainly comes from this kind of heel count and what New Balance has done here, where every time I kind of moved in my stride, I definitely felt like it was kind of holding me in place here, but not in a kind of heavy and uncomfortable way. It just felt reassuring when I was out running in this shoe. So I think you can get a kind of nice, consistent running feeling in this shoe, but also you're getting that protection, I think, as well, particularly at the back of this shoe. And then that upper just feels really comfortable as well in general. So the combination of those things for me made this a really kind of nice shoe to run. Kind of the shorter stuff, also some kind of longer runs as well. Kind of easy to moderate pace, I think. And I was able to pick up the pace in places as well, and it didn't feel like a heavy, uncomfortable shoe to do. So for me, in the run test, actually really solid for me. One of the kind of nicer stability shoes I've run in, and a stability shoe which I don't think feels like a stability shoe ultimately. But overall, a kind of really positive performance for me in my run test.
So the verdict for me on the Fresh Foam X 860 V12 is just a great, reliable workhorse with a little sprinkling of stability in it. It's a great shoe if you just want something that's going to be really reliable, just take you out day in, day out, and just let you know that you can just do those miles without worrying about the durability of the shoe, without worrying about any instabilities in it. It just feels so sturdy on the feet and just does a great job at that. But it also has a nice level of not feeling like a stability shoe. So if you're a runner that maybe, like me, you want a shoe that's stable, but you really don't want to go the whole hog and have a really chunky, noticeable stability shoe to do that, this is a great option. The only other shoe I can think of that does a similar thing is the On Cloudflyer, which, again, I didn't realise it was a stability shoe when I started using it. And then I found out afterwards that it did have a little bit of stability in it. It's a very similar ride to this, and I really like that shoe as well. I think that it's a really great option if you're looking for just a little bit of stability and you just want an overall feeling of reliability and protection in your feet. But overall, I think it's a fantastic workhorse trainer and just delivers everything you could want, from just covering off the mileage in assurance and the safety and the knowledge that the shoe is going to cover you for all of that, and your foot's held in place firmly, and it just feels great.
So my verdict on the V12 is that it's actually been a really solid stability shoe to run in, and actually didn't feel like a stability shoe in the kind of traditional sense of it. This upper is really kind of accommodating, I think comfortable. You've got, padding in the right places for me. And then you've got that fresh foam midsole, which I think delivers quite an energetic and kind of enjoyable ride, which I wasn't really expecting. It doesn't mean you can, but I think, pick up the pace a little bit in places, although, it really is for kind of eating up a lot of training miles, that kind of, getting miles in the bank, miles in the legs. But you do have that control and I think protection there as well, particularly in the hill that I found in my run. So for me, I think a really solid option from New Balance here. Really surprised me actually in terms of how much I actually enjoyed running in this shoe. And yeah, really, if you're looking for a stability shoe, this is definitely a good option to consider at this price.
So I'm not a runner who uses stability shoes as a matter of course, but I did enjoy kind of pootling along in the 860 over the last couple of weeks. I think it's a good, easy day option for those who do like a firmer ride or indeed want those stability elements. The foam is nice, it's comfortable, but like I say, it's not a big squish and response that you will find in a lot of shoes these days. The stability elements are there, but they're not annoying or intrusive on the run, so that's a nice feeling. And like I said, I didn't love it for going long in when I would prefer a softer ride myself, but yeah, it's not a bad shoe for that. I think maybe if they could trim the weight a little bit, it would become a really solid all-round option, I think, because the kind of feel of the midsole is conducive to quite fast running, I think, but it is just a bit built up for me, so I wouldn't really rate it as an all-rounder myself, more just as a kind of easy shoe. One way they could maybe achieve that was shaving off a bit of this outsole, but right now that outsole is fantastic in the kind of wintry weather where it's wet or icy. It is a really good outsole, but maybe that's one area they could reduce a bit of weight and make this kind of a more versatile option than it currently is.
Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click that little bell icon. Check the channel out for all the other videos we've got from the latest road and trail shoes, as well as all the latest running headphones and watches out at the moment. Thanks a lot for watching. See you soon.